Hello everyone, I'm Shruti Kumthekar, Marketing Manager at Kiosk. Thank you for joining us in our Kiosk monthly webinar. Today we will be discussing how to simplify your employee experience using the walk-up or tech lounge kiosk. Next slide, please. I'm going to take a couple of minutes to go through the agenda, where I'll talk about housekeeping, talk about close, followed by the presentation, and finally Q&A. For the housekeeping, this webinar will be recorded and you will be able to access it later. For Q&A, you are on mute. If you have any questions, please use the Q&A section in your Zoom control panel and a panelist will answer them. If you have any questions that are not directly related to the webinar, please email me at shruti@closing.com or sales@closing.com. Our social media channels are listed here and you can access our previous webinars at our Close YouTube channel. Next slide, please. About Close, we are a ServiceNow partner since 2011. We are based out of Santa Clara, very close to the ServiceNow headquarters. We are a full ServiceNow shop with 250 plus customers, 400 plus implementations, and we have been executing projects globally. Next slide, please. In terms of services, we provide end-to-end services. Our focus has been on customer service management, end user portal, and HR service delivery. Next slide. Our panelist today is Louis Guevara, who is the VP for Solutions and Innovations at Closing. Louis, thank you so much for joining us. I'm looking forward to this session.
Thank you, Shruti. Hopefully everyone can hear me fine. Yes, just a small background about myself. I've been on the platform now for close to about 12 years, and I've been implementing ServiceNow for many organizations, enterprise organizations, ranging from ITSM, customer service management, HR, and a lot of user experience service portal type of development as well. And today, I'll go ahead and switch off to another slide. It's really going to just kind of talk about the walk-up experience that ServiceNow recently released as part of their London release. And we'll also kind of just touch base. I did a webinar about a year and a half ago on our tech lounge solution that we offered prior to that release. And kind of what we're going to do is how to take advantage of the out-of-the-box solution and still have a good user experience on top of that. So we're going to kind of talk that through as part of the webinar today. All right. So you know, if you'd like to subscribe, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. We do post a lot of videos on a monthly basis. We'll try to continue that as often as possible, more than the month. But you know, we put a lot of content out there, ranging from different topics. But certainly, please do subscribe if you happen to be there. Okay. So today's agenda is really just to talk about, you know, why the walk-up experience and how walk-up experience can optimize or provide a continuous, you know, improvements in user engagement. And I think that's, you know, over the last year or so and this coming year, that's been a key topic about, you know, in many areas of how to improve customer engagement and their experience as they continue to engage not only with IT, with HR, and customer service and any other departments who provide services, and especially you know, in the ServiceNow experiences, is how can you speed up that process and give them that good user experience. And we see that a lot today with the rise of AI, chat, virtual agents, you know, machine learning. Those are continuing to expand, and really kind of what we're going to go through today is the walk-up experience. And why the walk-up experience? You know, walk-up is an on-site walk-up channel has been is to provide a quick engagement where you can submit issues and requests that can be easily fulfilled by your service desk or your customer support, or and someone who's experienced that can easily provide that in real time. Study shows, you know, this is the oldest support channels out there. There's other channels like phone, email. You know, you hear about Slack today, you hear about chats, and you hear about virtual agents, chatbots. In the late 80s, if you had an IT issue, one of the easiest things that you can easily get as a support is to just walk up to someone within that department and say, hey, I have a question, or can you help me figure out what's going on with my laptop? I'm not able to access a particular software, or somehow this is very slow. And that's the quickest and fastest way that you can do, and that still applies today. I don't know how many times I hear it from many of our customers that I work with, and they say, you know what, we continue to get walk-ups, and this is also one of the least reported cases because there's just not a quick way to easily submit a ticket, because someone will just walk by, you spend about 5 minutes with that person, you solve, and they kind of go off on their own, and here you are sitting there, and now you could either spend another 5 to 10 minutes or 5 minutes to submit that ticket and kind of summarize what just happened. So that's typically what becomes a miss from many organizations where they get a walk-up. And this just doesn't apply to IT anymore. It applies for many departments, such as HR. HR is also another department that is getting a lot of issues with people just walking by, and especially with HR, it's all about information. There's nothing that you might be doing on a laptop or anything that you can troubleshoot, but rather someone just walking by and say, hey, I have a question about payroll, or I have a question about benefits. And that is a challenge for that organization to be able to track. And there's really not a whole lot of metrics to prove how valuable a walk-up will do for them. And it really is just one of the least priority for many organizations to kind of to solve. But it is one of the most complaints from a fulfiller standpoint that says, hey, you know, I'm just not able to track whenever someone walks by. I solved it in 2 minutes. So that's really kind of what hopefully we'll try to solve with this walk-up experience and how we can extend the walk-up experience. So today, I'll do a live demo of both the ServiceNow walk-up experience out of the box. I'll show you a couple of user experience that we put together in terms of redefining the actual UI interface or the portal interface, and then also show you one more sample of how HR can utilize a walk-up experience. So why now? Is it really worth reconsidering? I think we're seeing that a lot. We released this application about 1.5 years ago, and it had some great feedback. We've released it now to many of our clients, and we waited to kind of expand that application, given that we knew ServiceNow was going to come out with a walk-up experience as well in the London release, and that's kind of what we waited for, and kind of see what's involved in that. So we'll kind of go through in terms of the features and functionalities that the out-of-the-box walk-up experience have, and then we'll kind of talk that through in terms of how we can continue to expand and use that for other purposes. So you see Apple Genius bars, they have a check-in spot. You hear Tech Lounge, you hear self-service check-in, HR Kiosk, and this has been now used for sales kickoff events and anything like that, where really kind of you need to utilize. And if you still see like one of these things where you get a ticket and now it's serving, like think of DMVs, and there's a lot of opportunities where this can still be applied. As far as measuring quality, this is something I found using Happy Signals. They're at that's where this information, where they collect a lot of data and kind of publish it out there. And this is something that they put together. You can see with all the different channels that's mainly popular in terms of getting services. You can see that the walk-in is only receiving about 1%, but it has the highest satisfaction when it comes to resolving the customer's problem, and that it becomes that understatement of it's either not being reported that it's highly utilized, or and simply you always get emails and phones and all the way through the portal. So this is a great example, great data about understanding where customers what customers are using in terms of the multiple channels, the omni channels that ServiceNow talks about, and we're hoping to see as AI and virtual agents sort of comes, you're going to see that the chat will probably increase eventually, and really you want to try to decrease the amount of phone calls and emails, because it comes with a lot of overhead in terms of manning those channels. So coming with the portal, the walk-in, and the chat, that kind of gives you the ability to kind of balance out the different channels that you might offer for your customers. And at the end of the day, the idea is to provide end user satisfaction, faster resolution time, and still give that human-to-human engagement, so they don't feel like they're talking to a robot or a machine all the time. So user experience, the definition of a user experience is the overall experience of a person, really kind of utilizing the product, either in the form of a website, some computer applications, or any kind of UI where you basically interact. And it has to be something pleasing. It has to be something very easy. And the general idea of making that as easy as possible is to ensure that the user will not lose focus in terms of what they're trying to achieve when they're visiting a portal. So think of Amazon, think of other websites out there where the experience for you to shop or to get what you need has to be something very easy, very pleasant, so that you don't feel like you're going around and you're clicking too many buttons and you're still not finding what you're looking for. So this applies for the way we build our portals, the way we design the portals, and really that's the key area that we're trying to solve for. And user engagement, it is an assessment of how the user will engage with that particular application or that particular product that you're offering to the user. Okay. So what we're doing is, we put together a nice UI layout that allows the user to easily engage, and this can be applied on any tablet device, mobile device. It could be on a desktop, and this could also sit in where you may have a tech lounge already, or you're still thinking about building a tech lounge and having like a kiosk style, by front of the door, or just maybe hanging on the wall. And the key portion here is just the ease of use. It's something that you can do within a 3-click. And you can see here, you touch the screen. This is something that I'm going to show you today. The second option is you can either type your name, which is a pretty fairly common one. But if you happen to have badges, you have an RFID badge and you want to use those badges and you track those badge numbers accordingly with the users they're assigned to, you can actually swipe your badge and we can track that. And that's something that we added into the walk-up experience, is giving that ability to track the badges and that asset and the assignment of that badge to the user, and then be able to track it and then swipe it. And then you get to the options of, is there something broken? Do you have a request? Maybe you need a replacement or something. And then anything else that you might want to just ask a question of. Now, how does it work when you use a badge? And unfortunately, I don't have a live one here, but this is just a simple visual representation. You have a badge, you walk up to a kiosk, you want to be able to swipe it. It reads the number off the kiosk pretty fairly, and at that point, that will take you to the check-in screen. And that's really kind of the general purpose of swiping a badge, where you don't have to touch the screen, you don't have to type anything. You can easily just swipe the badge. And I do have a couple of examples of what that looks like. And we put together one in our last year at Knowledge. So we had a kiosk stand standing, and you can have a Wave ID that you can swipe, and you can easily use that. So it's a very easy install. It's very low cost efficient, device as well, that you can easily plug into a tablet or it's a USB port. So it's pretty fairly easy to put together. Okay. All right. So some of the key features that the walk-up experience has, it's a self-service check-in. You can have badge number or user registration. ServiceNow out of the box doesn't have the badge process, but they do have allowed guest users if you happen to be not registered within their system. It's a simple UI. It has a queue management. It has location and schedule based that you can apply, and we'll talk about what the differences on the types of queues. It has a very simple escalation process where you can take a walk-up ticket, and this is a great example of, of IT having that problem of, hey, we get these tickets, but it's not an incident, it's not a request, but it's someone that just happened to, someone wants to take it as a call. So if you've done the call at the new call application, it works just about the same thing, where this is now a walk-up application where it can start as a walk-up ticket, and then the tech support or the support person that's working on that can either determine that, hey, this is really an incident that requires additional level of support, or it could be an escalation path, or it's someone that just, it's an actual request, someone walking in with a broken laptop and they weren't sure whether it's it needs a replacement or not. That's something that can easily be transferred in to become a request. And we'll kind of show you how we simplified that process as well with our kiosk add-ons. It really just we also added an easy-to-use tech support interface rather than having the need to go through the back end. If your agents are not familiar too much on the back end, or they don't want to see that, and you're looking for something easy to use interface, we did put together a tech support interface as well that I'll do a demo on. And at the end of the day, this is a ServiceNow, and then you can have all this as a single platform, fully integrated with all the other applications that you may use within the ServiceNow platform. And then the key portion here from a UI standpoint, it is a responsive layout. Some of the additional features that came with the walk-up experience is the integrations of tapping into your stockroom and inventory if you're doing asset management. If you haven't been to the ServiceNow office in Santa Clara, they have a particular stockroom there, and that allows them to either swap out the equipment right away and then really kind of get the user up and running, so they don't have to wait for a couple of days to procure a particular equipment, whether that's just a consumable device or it could be an actual laptop that might be a spare or maybe as a loaner. It also has that agent schedule management. The kiosk will smart enough to know when to start and what to end, and in terms of scheduling, and then the survey feature at the end. So very, very easy to use survey. Okay. From a reporting standpoint, this is really an important piece here, is how do you track, what is the trend, and how much people are actually visiting the tech lounge. And ServiceNow has a really nice themed dashboard that comes with the platform, or comes with the application, where you can track how many walk-ups per quarter, the surveys that you're receiving, how many people are actually taking the survey, and then how many tickets are coming between locations, if you have multiple locations, and the different assets that you have. So it's really have all that information there. All right, so I'm going to jump into the demo. All my sources are here that you can read through. HDI has a pretty good information about walk-up, and ServiceNow definitely have good information. There's a couple of YouTube videos that you can use. ServiceNow has a YouTube video. They talk about desktop chats, kind of talk about their San Diego office. Again, if you haven't seen what theirs look like, you can certainly ask for a visit or something, and they can do that demo. I believe if you happen to be in Santa Clara, this was also presented at the community at the Snug recently. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and jump into the actual application itself. So from a UI standpoint, this is what that looks like when you start getting into the tablet. This is the out of the box that I'm showing you, and really what it gives you is you can change the different locations. It has whatever locations you have, or it could be Santa Clara, it could be San Diego, whatever those locations are, we can easily configure that. You can view the queue, and then you can check in, and then you can do the survey. This is the interface that ServiceNow has. And when you get into the kiosk, you simply do the check-in, and bit of an error there. Let's do a quick. Give me 1 second. wrong user. All right, it's back there. So what will happen, and the way the ServiceNow has it, is you basically will check in and you type your name. So it can look up a name and it'll do a simple search within the user table. And you can easily then find who you are and then your reason for visit. And the reason for visit is very simple. You need something. It could be a break fix or something is not working. It could be, an issue related. And all that's going to do is going to then submit. And it's going to allow you to do the check-in. And, if you happen to be the first one in queue, great. Now it just returns to the main menu. So it's a very simple interface that allows you to get in. Now, from when you have a big screen just kind of sitting that's either on the wall or just where you can manage the queue that's happened to be in the lounge, then what you can do is you can have that walk up look and feel. So you can see here immediately that I happen to be up next. So there's two different sections, is what's up next and then who's being served. And the moment that tech support accepts and places their name, this easily just moves into the left and that becomes the queue. So this is their interface. This is a ServiceNow interface in terms of what you can put up onto the wall, onto the big screen of TV. Okay. And then from there on, what typically now happens is the agent will have the walk-up application on the back end. This is the back end portion of ServiceNow, if you're familiar with the interface, and I'm hoping you are. So this is the dashboard. You can easily see the walk-up experience, and you can see where the dashboard sits. And this kind of gives you a lot of different reports using all the native reporting capabilities that ServiceNow has. And then from here, you can see that there's a lot of different modules that's available. Outside of the administration, this is typically where all the walk-up tickets will resolve. So you can see that if you want to work on the ticket, if you're the support that's scheduled to be at the lounge, you simply pick up the ticket and assign it to yourself. So you can simply say accept, and that gets accepted. And now what you will see from a queue standpoint, it's now serving that person, and that simply move on to the left, and now it's being worked on. And from here, you can pretty much transfer the ticket. You can transfer it to a different queue if you're not able to solve. You can abandon this ticket if it's no longer a related issue, or maybe the person is missing and it's no longer there. You could potentially associate it to another record. So if there's already an existing incident, or maybe there's an existing problem, you could associate this to that particular record. So all you simply need to do is find which ticket that would be. We can simplify the way this table looks. So obviously you're not going to be able to associate this to every single table that ServiceNow has, but you could associate it to an incident and then look for that particular incident table. So those are the key features that ServiceNow, out of the box came up with, and you can close it from here. In addition, if this, the use case that typically happens is that, if the agent or the support technician is not able to solve that particular issue, and it requires additional engineers or additional resources, now they can actually create an incident, or they can, or maybe it's just broken and it just requires a replacement. They can pretty much pick up and translate it to create a request. Out of the box, this kind of takes you to the service catalog, and you can pick which catalog it needs to be a replacement. It could be a hardware, maybe just an iPhone 7 that needs to be replaced, and then you simply do the order now. And all that's doing is going to close out the ticket and then go through your standard request fulfillment process. Okay. So back to the app itself. So again, this is what the agent is really doing, and everything is all interconnected. All the regular features that ServiceNow has. You can use the virtual task board if you like to manage tickets that way. Those are all the things that's available for us to be able to use within the application. All right. So that's, kind of how that works from start to finish in terms of user checking in, getting into a queue, and then and an agent or a fulfiller solving the ticket, and then really kind of associating it with all of the other data points that you need. And really, when you transfer into an agent, all you're simply doing is reassigning it. So it's giving you just another interface to reassign this particular ticket. You can also transfer it to a queue. So let's just say, the that person happened to be in building number 1, but at the time, but that person may have called, the user may have called and say, you know what, I'm not going to be in that building. I'm going to be in building number 2. You could transfer it to a different building, and it would simply put that in their queue so they don't have to check in when they get to that building. So they'll get added on to that particular queue as well. Okay. So in a nutshell, I would talk about the queue management. It's very simple, very easy to use. Walk-up ticket. You can easily transfer to incident. You can easily transfer to become a request. And then you can also tap into stock rooms. So if you happen to have, consumables that you can easily deploy, if you have laptops that you can easily deploy, you can easily assign that with the user and doing a quick swap and then going through the request process pretty fairly easily. Okay. As far as administrations of this platform, there's notifications. The badges is something that we added on, and really just the portal configurations. You can schedule you can also configure your schedules accordingly, and you can also use the survey process, and then really just kind of noting down which locations and what options. So it's meant to be very easy configuration. So the main thing there is that you do have that walk-up application that's already built in. Now, where can Cloves sort of continue to expand and then kind of make some simple improvements? We feel that, having the need to type in and then having to do the drop down doesn't necessarily, it's still a reasonable user experience, but I think it's something that we can improve upon. And that's kind of one of the great things about ServiceNow is they come up with something that's great, but you can also, you can continue to expand and the use of that product and then kind of come up with something different that's going to be very much useful for your users. And so really kind of what we've come up with is having a different user interface. So this is something that we put together, and it is a very simple, it goes on an iPad and the same way that you would do to check in. But rather than checking in, you have now the option to click on the screen. You can type your badge. You can swipe your badge if you happen to have a badge, an RFID reader. You can do some scanning as well, or you can simply type in. So here I have an option to put in my name or put anyone's name, and that gives me the 3 options. So rather than doing the drop down, this actually very quickly. So it's using the native touch functionalities that you're already using with your iPad, so you don't have to click too many things, and really just something that you want to do something is broken, and that gets added on to the screen. So thank you for participating. Please wait. So again, we have now flexibilities in terms of how we engage and what kind of experience we're giving to the user. So that's a simple one that we put together. It's very quick and easy. You touch the screen, you swipe your badge, and then you simply click on which particular issue you're having today. Okay. And commercially, we also hear from our HR partners that our edge customers that say, hey, we want to do something similar. So what we did is we put together a simple UI interface for them, and it doesn't have a walk-up ticket, but it can easily create an HR general case. So you can see here that I can touch the screen, same similar fashion as what we've already done, and I can click on that. And then from here, I have some options, and this actually applies to all the different COEs that HR has today. There's Ask HR, there's Benefits Question, there's Payroll. So if it's a simple Ask HR, just, hey, you know what, I just have a very simple question. And it may not apply for anything that, these, and we can actually expand the number of different questions that we have here, and I'll kind of show you that. But if I just simply want to do Ask HR on what this is going to do, it's going to create a standard HR general case. if you happen to have beyond any questions, like let's say payroll, for example, we can give you different options and different categories that you currently have today if you're using the HR module. And what this is doing is just giving you that quick and easy question. So if I have a question about my direct deposit, how do I set it up? I can simply click that, and now it creates an HR ticket, and that HR ticket is fully categorized to what I just selected, and it's a very simple, quick and easy way for me to engage with HR. So that actually gets created. So that's something that we're also we have available from a front end kiosk standpoint. Okay. All right. So just to recap on the front end from a user interface standpoint is that we have, we can continue to utilize Service Portal as a way to improve the user experience and the engagements you have with your customers, really kind of taking something that's out of the box and continue to expand and come up with something that's very nice and looking UI for your end users. Okay. All right. So now what we've also done is kind of revamp a little bit on what this looks like and really kind of come up with something similar, but also again, just different way of different look and feel from a user. So this is something that we have from a walk-up ticket standpoint, and really just similar information that's happening here. Again, it's really comes down to the design, the guideline, the web guideline that you have within your organization. So we have that flexibility to make those changes. All right. So the other way, and that ServiceNow kind of mentioned, is when you have a service portal, and rather than having to go to the tech lounge and know what's going on there, you can actually access the check-in application or the check-in, the walk-up front end from your standard portal. And this is just one example where you can have a link that will take me there. You can have a hanging icon, just like how you would with chat, where it can show you the number of people waiting in line and what's your average wait time. So then you know whether or not you should go there now, or you can wait for later until the queue dies down. And those are some of the options that you have that you could apply into the portal. And if you need help with that, surely let us know. We can really kind of design that based on your existing design today. Okay. All right. And really, just from a mobile standpoint, one of the things that we added on to the portal is the ability to have a queue. So rather than using ServiceNow backend, we can actually utilize the portal as the way to manage the queue. So we can, just give me 1 second. So what we came up with is, one of our use cases with our customer is, well, we don't want our support agent to use the backend look and feel of ServiceNow using the ticketing. Now that could change. Obviously, I think ServiceNow is coming out with with an agent workspace in Madrid. So again, a lot of things are changing in terms of the UI as ServiceNow continues to expand and improve the platform for the agent space. But here's just something very simple that we put together. Just like the queue management that you have, this is something that you can apply on your iPad or something that could be where you can have something that's in the queue. And here you can simply accept. So just like how you would on the back end, where you can go into the ticket, look at a ticket form that I just recently that I showed you earlier. Basically, looking like this way. Rather than looking at it from this standpoint, we're actually changing that a little bit and just kind of using the Service Portal capabilities to do the same thing. And here you can simply have an iPad that's that you can take with you, and you can say accept. And then giving you that nice, easy looking interface where you don't necessarily have to look at it from this standpoint. In the same way, all the functionalities will apply. And one of the things that we also changed is the escalate feature. We feel that, creating a request, taking you to a service catalog form may not be the best thing and it could take some time. So one of the things that we did here is you simply click escalate. And if it's a request, you can now select which product you're going to replace it with. So let's say I want to replace it with Apple or something. And you say, you know what, this is the product that is. And I can put more summary. I can, screen was broken and need replacement. So now I can utilize your existing single catalog items and have all this information and be able to generate this ticket, and you simply submit, and that will then generate that request ticket. So now I have that process from a procurement standpoint to be able to do so. And either you can now close this ticket from here, or you can continue to add more. So just requested a replacement. So we're using the portal interface and the employee ticket form as a way for the agent to also do the same thing, so that they have this nice looking interface as well, that they can manage the individual tickets. So they don't necessarily have to deal with all the left navigation things that, that some organization may or may not want. Okay. And from here, you can simply close. And I said, you know what, I updated, and now I can close. And now the ticket's closed. So that's just another sample. So that's something that we have added on to the walk-up experience. So we've kind of mixed in a lot of some of the things that we already did about a year or so ago, and we're kind of applying the same features and capabilities and the whole service portal capabilities into the walk-up experience as an addition, and we're also adding on to the badges as well. Okay, so that sort of concludes the demo today. It basically, just to recap, it covers the service portal, and allowing the service portal to access the walk-up check-in kiosk that you might have. It talks about the different types of interface and different experience that you can give to your users in terms of how they would check in. And they also have the ability to actually go to their website to using a mobile device in the same exact way. And then you can give them the link directly into the walk-up, and they can go there and they can check in themselves in and out. So it's all mobile responsive. It has the different types of interface that you can tap into, and how you want to continue to engage with your customer. And then at the same time, giving that once you're in the lounge itself, you do have different options in terms of how you want to showcase and the different queues that you have, and you can show the different locations. And we plan to add more widgets in here, and really kind of just different functionalities and features that will really kind of help enhance that experience. And the last portion of it is really just the agent view, and giving that agent workspace as a way to kind of simplify how they work on the ticket, and as well as giving that good experience. So I'm going to go ahead and jump back to my slide, and we'll take some questions. And really kind of, that's sort of the demo today. This is just one of the real examples that we had, and you can see it has the RFID reader, and it's something that you can easily purchase. All you need is it's a USB port. You can connect it to the iPad, or you can connect it to any tablet. You can have a keyboard that can connect to the iPad so that they can type in. As mentioned in some of our previous slides, something that we've already used, for HR, having like a stand-up kiosk right next near their office or around the building. We've also used the kiosk from sales kickoff events, and we've now used it for multiple tech lounges with many of our customers today. And just the last slide here, kind of what's coming up for us. We plan on putting out this theme in the store, so we're going to have a store. We're looking to kind of get started with our store and publish more content there. We're going to continue to build new applications for HR, IT, CSM, GRC. So we'll have a lot of applications in store. We're getting into mobile applications, virtual agent, machine learning, and AI all across the way. Okay. Again, please, thank you very much today. I'll take some questions, and if you feel free to go to our YouTube channel. This should be posted up for the December webinar. Continue to do so in the coming year. Continue to publish out new webinars and new topics on a monthly basis.
Thank you, Louis. That was great. We do have a few questions. So here's one. Does this effectively replace the service portal?
No, it doesn't. It's an add-on. It's another channel. So Service Portal continues to be one channel, and you may have more content in your Service Portal beyond just a simple check-in. This is really just another channel for your users to interface, to interact.
Okay. Can you email the person if they left to have them come back?
Yes, you can. So ServiceNow has an email capabilities, which I did not show, and I could show it, where they could easily get notifications on, the wait time and say, okay, you have 5 minutes to come by. So we can set up those rules to continue to get that enhanced. And it can also use native functionalities. If you have users that are on their mobile, we can send out notifications, standard notifications. You can use native notifications on the mobile app as well.
Okay. Can you also put your name in queue through the ServiceNow interface instead of going to the lounge?
Can you repeat that again, Shruti? Can you
put your name in queue through the ServiceNow interface instead of going to the lounge?
Yes. You have options to use the portal as a way to put your name into the queue. So if you're using a portal, you can have the check-in application here as well, embedded in somewhere as part of the widget. Unfortunately, we just didn't have time to kind of put that together, but that's something that we plan on doing. And the idea would be that it could be something that's hovering, do some slide outs, or somebody else will allow you to check in from a portal. And conversely, you can do that if you happen to be a power user, where you're on the back end. You can also do it here as well.
Okay. How far in advance can you schedule a visit, assuming that time is customizable?
So the general purpose of walk-up is for a daily. It's not meant to be scheduled, although that could be more of a scheduling app that you could work with support. So it's a different use case. However, it still is possible to schedule yourself and then put yourself in a queue if that's a use case. It's not a use case. The general use case of the walk-up is just something that you can easily walk in. If you happen to be in the building, you have a room where your supports are sitting that are manning the stations, and you can easily walk in there. So it's supposed to be done as a daily basis, wherever they're open.
Okay. We did have a request from one of our attendees, and they were asking if you could share the slide on the e-links again. This is something you showed us just before you did the demo.
Which ones?
It's the links to the resources on your slide.
Yeah, definitely. This is something we can share. Yeah, this is stuff that I easily found online. Yeah.
Okay. And in the meantime, just a reminder to our other attendees, if you have any questions, you can use the Q&A section in your Zoom control panel, and you can submit your questions.
Great. Any other questions, Shruti?
No, I don't think we're getting any more questions. So if you get any other questions or any information that you want, please feel free to send an email to sales@closing.com or shruti@closing.com, and we will respond. Is there anything else, Louis, that you wanted to add?
No, I think this is great. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone who joined today, and looking forward to connecting with you. If you have any questions, definitely reach out to me.
Thanks, Louis, and thanks everyone for attending. We'll see you all next month for our next close webinar.